This is Sean of SeanConrad.com. You ever wonder if your favorite rapper might still be living at home with their parents? It's possible. I mean, if you think about it, you don't make a record and then all of a sudden people send you your car and your new house. It just doesn't happen that way. I remember back in the day, me and the Notorious B.I.G., may he rest in peace, chilling, vibing, rapping. And I remember he was like, yo, we should trade numbers, blah, blah, blah. I was like, all right, cool. I remember asking him right away, is it cool when I call to ask for Biggie or should I ask for Christopher? He was like, it's all good. My mom's is cool. She knows you can ask for Biggie or Christopher. And I remember when I called, Mom's picked up the phone and I was like, may I speak to Biggie? And she was like, who's calling? And I was like, this is Freshco. She was like, okay, hold on. And she said, Christopher. You know, like, this was normal. This was normal. Yes, Biggie had a record on the radio, a hit record on the radio. But I did not hesitate to be like, hey, when I call your house, is your mom's cool with da 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 da? It's like we knew. I still lived in my mom's house. You know, it's like we knew. So this concept of you make a record and someone zaps you into your mansion, no, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Your butler doesn't just drive up with your Maybach the minute you drop a record. Think about all these rappers, especially from our era, back in the day. Special Ed, maybe Chubb Rock, Jay-Z. I mean, that's one that, as far as I can remember, I drove to Damon Dash's apartment back on 90th Street and First Avenue. Ski lives around the corner, right? I drive, I park. Jay-Z comes up there every day to meet us and we're all hanging out. I don't remember Jay-Z pulling up and parking somewhere. I don't remember that at all. I could be wrong. 93. Someone out there can verify what I'm saying. Let me know if I'm wrong or not. Okay? This is not about throwing shade. This is like a normal occurrence at that time in New York. So many rappers, so many DJs with like heavy sneaker collections in their mom's basement. Records on the radio at their mom's house. I used to have rappers come by my mom's house to the studio that had records on the radio. Like, no big deal. It was what it was. You know? Because I think at the time, parents were like, okay, my son or daughter is doing something. I'm not going to push them out there on the street because society says when you turn 18 or when you're college age, you got to get out. Many parents that I knew were like, hey, my son or my daughter is trying to do something. I'm not going to push them out there in the street knowing they don't have any money, knowing they don't have built up credit, you know, just knowing certain things about your child. I know I said child. Your son or your daughter. Just knowing certain things. Your parents not going to be like, hey, I know you're broke, but get the hell out. Because you're supposed to be living by yourself. No. So, just think about it. Just think about certain artists that you might hear and you're like, is that house really theirs? Are those cars, is it possible that they own that car? And most of the time we know because the videos are all hyped up. But I remember, like, my guy, Special Ed, puts out a record, monster hit, I Got It Made. No one zapped him a Maybach. He was still riding around in his his joint, I think it was a Honda Accord. I was riding around in a Honda Accord. I think it was a Honda Accord. And I don't think he owned it. The dude was like 15 or 16 at the time. So where was that money coming from? Unless, you're thinking the label fronts you some money and then you go get your mansion and your cars. Not quite. Not quite. So there's this time period. You come out with a record. It starts playing on the radio, but there's this little time period where your record has to make sales, right? Earn income, and then the accumulation of that income earned, right? And we look at that maybe quarterly or every 6 months. Then the record label, whoever supports you, takes back what they're supposed to take back, and then you get cut a check. You don't get cut checks every Saturday your record's played on the radio, or every day that your record is played on the radio. Somebody's cutting you a check, you look in your mailbox, boom, there's your money. Not quite. Not quite. The sales accumulate, you gain some money, you build up your credit, and eventually you get to a point where you can buy yourself a house, buy your parents a house, buy yourself a new car, move out of the hood. Kind of more like that. But it's just interesting, just food for thought. Think about some of your favorite rappers who, when you were listening to their record on the radio, they were going home to mommy and daddy's. No shade. It's just what it was. Just what it was. It wasn't as strange in New York as it was out of town. Somebody, you kicking it with somebody, they rap, they got records out, you go to their crib, you passing through, you say hi to their mom. Hey, this is Fresh, this is my mom. Hey, how you doing, Mrs. I mean, man, you'd be surprised how many times that has happened. It's not a big deal until you go out of town and you walking around and you hanging out of town and you meet somebody and they go, "You still live at your mom's house? Oh my God." Yeah, that's when it's like, what I do? You shouldn't be in your mom's house. You're a grown man. I'm telling you. I have a longer list. I can tell you about several people, but this is not about like outing people. This is just a conversation. But I'm telling you, rappers that lived in Flatbush was like, take my number. You might get the number, and at the time, moms might pick up. Hello, may I speak to? Hold on, who's calling? So, again, I think today maybe there's more of a chance of a new artist just out of here. I'm out of here. Buying my house, buying my car. Because maybe the advance money is a lot bigger, so maybe that's possible. But I'm gonna guess that it's still possible for you to be hearing people that have songs all over the radio and they're still at Mom Dukes, still at Pop Dukes. And it's okay. It's just how it is. There's a process. It's not instant. Somebody doesn't sprinkle pixie dust on you and then you open your eyes and you're in your mansion. Nah. But it's just, conversation. I'll end with this. One of my friends, who's an engineer, told me a story about going to a rapper's house, right? This person has several records on the radio, videos all over the place, throws money all over the place. They went to this person's house. They had to hit the gate code, right? So the person who owned the house, the rapper who owned that house, could open their gate and let them in. My friend drove in because my friend was going there to get the rest of his money that he was owed for engineering this person's record. It was about $450 to $500. So my friend gets buzzed in to the rapper's house. And the rapper says, cool, I'm gonna get you the money. They get in the car and he goes, let's go to the ATM. My friend is like, cool, let's go. The rapper takes out $250 and gives it to my friend and says, I'll hit you with the rest when I get some money. What? Don't you have like 3 or 4 songs on the radio? We're talking about $450 here. Gave my friend like half of the money and said, hey, I'm gonna hit you with the rest soon. So, be careful what you're buying. Be careful what you're buying because, man, some of these people are like living, trying to say they doing this and they doing that. And they're like, dog, I'm gonna give you some of this now and some of this later. Like putting clothes on layaway. You know, you remember that? Do they still do that? Anyway, subscribe. Give me a like if you like what I'm talking about. This is Sean Conrad, and I'm out.